user. Yeah, it's one that I've intentionally avoided because it's very, very, how to put it, it's near and
Divisive?
dear to my heart, and it's hard for me to get on either side of the fence. I kind of am just stuck in the middle, and that is the Washington Redskins name. And now everybody has heard the controversy behind this. There are Native American groups, especially two, I believe, the Native American Council and the Oneida tribe. I believe they're centered more northeast of the country, but those are two big front runners trying to get the Redskins to change their name because Redskins traditionally is known as a racial slur, and they don't believe that it should be a mascot. Now they're going to go after probably the Indians from Cleveland after this and some of the other Native American mascot having teams after this, but they're starting with the Redskins because they say that is the most heinous.
Yeah, I mean the Indians actually have been hit before with some controversy. I think more so around their logo and the way that it their mascot it being a less respectful uh, form, whereas the Redskins mascot, the logo is obviously much more respectful than what the Indians have. So
The
we do
actual
have that
name
going for us.
itself, yeah, the name itself is what they're really going after. And we are here in Washington. I am a Redskins fan. And if we do change the name, number one,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to change my entire wardrobe. It's going to have to be gone. Number two, all right, I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to tell you something that's going to sound almost exact opposite. But I believe that words only have as much power as you give them, and meanings of words change all the time. And I think we've taken the word Redskins from a negative context, at least to me, where it traditionally was, and put it into a positive light. I mean, I am a Redskins fan. I'm a Redskin through and through. I bleed burgundy and gold. Those are my colors. That is my team. That is how I identify myself. Football is my favorite sport, and I absolutely love sports. That is my passion. This team has always been there for me, and usually it's been bad, and I still love them. Uh, and it's hard for me when somebody says that this is such a negative word to really to go with that because again I've just seen it in such a positive light my entire life. I mean, but on the other hand, somebody who maybe was grown up in the maybe 60s 70s where this word was probably still used, racially charged, used as a negative towards people, I don't know where I can come off and say you're not allowed to be offended by that. We've changed the meaning. Just get over it. It's not what you think anymore. When they are the ethnicity that is being offended, and I am part of the ethnicity that is offending. So it's hard for me to say that. But again, I just have such love for the Redskins in general. I mean, it's really weird. And the reason I'm bringing this up right now is because 50 senators recently signed a letter, and they sent it over to the NFL, petitioning them to ask the Redskins to change their name. And then also, the Oneida tribe and that the National Council of Native Americans also tweeted every single NFL player in the league, asking them to tweet a message how the Redskins should change their name. So everything's kind of spiraling, and we've really seen this pick up steam in the past 2 years. Last year, especially in the beginning of the year, you heard everybody, Bob Costas, everybody jumped on the bandwagon of change the name. So,
And to be fair, the owner of the Redskins and now the general manager got in on it. If you didn't see his letter, uh, they haven't always smoothed things over. I think that they help keep the fans satisfied, but it seems like everything they do gets the rest of the country a little bit angrier with their
yeah,
response.
well, when this was brought up like 3-4 years ago, because this pops up all the time, Daniel
Yeah, it
Snyder was
has
quoted
popped
as
up
saying,
many
"You can put it in caps. We are never changing the name." And then he comes out after you had the actual petition by the Oneida tribe hit his desk, I guess, and he came out with a softer tone, talking about how it was part of him, just like I kind of came out and said that I feel that it's part of me, this name, this organization, this team. I feel such a strong connection to it. I don't want to change that. But
And
again,
honestly, I think that's really the stance of almost every Redskins fan. Like I feel that way. This is something that to me has never been negative. It's something to aspire to
hmm
because we love them so much. It's how we identify that name. We love the team so much. We think this. We've always thought of this as a good thing,
hmm
not as a bad thing, not as something like if I called someone a Redskins, I would only be thinking about the football team for one thing, but
hmm
it would
and
be a
again,
good
and,
term.
and again, that's not how everybody has used that term. That's the thing is it was
That's
such a
how we
negative
have
term.
though.
Yeah, that's how
That's how
we.
we have to think. That's how
And
we
again,
think.
I do believe that you can change the meaning of words to from a negative to a positive, from positive to a negative, and it just becomes part of the common vernacular. What's going on, and I think that that's kind of what's happened. But again, I don't want to say that anybody else can't be offended by it. So here are words for my face, and this is really I'm going to give credit to producer extraordinaire Brendan. We have come up with a solution. This should make
Yes.
everybody happy. Redskins fans, Native Americans, everybody across the board should be happy. So, whereas the most offensive part of the Washington Redskins is not actually the mascot, we have an idea. You change the mascot, you can change the meaning of the name. So we're looking for the best Redskin potato out there. Go ahead and send us all your entries at wordsformyface.com, wordsformyface at Gmail, Twitter, comments down below. We're looking for somebody to create a Redskin potato. So instead of it being Native American Redskins, it'll be the potatoes. Yeah?
That's
Yeah?
right. And we're thinking get a logo, an aggressive potato. Like I
Aggressive
don't know how
potato,
you're gonna do
fighting
that.
potato.
You
And
use your
then think
creative
about this.
skills.
Think about this, Redskins fans. Think about this. You won't be offending anybody because we'll have changed it to a potato, and potatoes cannot get offended since they do not have feelings. I do not believe. I'm not
But if they
100% sure
do,
on.
I don't care about you potatoes. I'm gonna
I
eat
eat
you.
you all the time. But so we can do that. Number two is that we can wear these really cool potato heads. Like, Green Bay has the cheese heads. We'll have potato heads and little spuds coming out. And then number three is our mascot can be Mr. Potato Head. And think about all the comedy hijinks that'll happen if he runs out on the field and like his eyeballs fall out or his lips fall off or his one arm falls off and he's running around. Hilarity. Hilarity.
Yeah, and if people don't realize, we don't really have a mascot at our stadiums. Like there's none of the funny mascots like other places have that are over the top. Partially because I think because we think that that would be offensive.
That would probably be more offensive. Yes, that definitely would. Yes.
The closest we have is our band, which the marching band that wears the headbands and whatever. But
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
But
So.
there's another benefit that I think is going to be great. We automatically have a new great tailgating food. I mean, think about that. Now you're
Mm,
going to have some redskin potatoes
mm,
with loaded up with that bacon, that cheese,
sour cream. Mm,
yeah,
mm.
butter, all that. That it's going to be amazing.
And
That's
send
all
us
we're
your
going to need to
potato
do.
skin
Get that loaded
recipes.
potato.
Send us all your best potato skin recipes and comments down below. Words from my face on words. All the places. I'm not going to go through it again. But yeah, we see. Think about the marketing, Dan Snyder. You could
And
be.
red potatoes are personally my favorite kind of potatoes already. Yeah.
Those are the best potatoes when you have mashed potatoes to leave a little bit of the skins in there because it's good for color. Adds a little bit of color to it. But I think we've solved the problem. You stop offending people, and you turn the name from. I mean, I'm not going to deny it. Yes, Redskins was a racial slur. Again, I think it was back in the day. Some people are arguing that it's still present. So, again, I won't
Some
disagree with your
people,
any arguments.
um, some have argued lately. I don't know how legitimate they are, but there have even been those that have argued that it started as a unifying good term from certain tribes when they would present themselves to the U.S. government or whatever as identify themselves as we are the Redskin nations and things like that. That's there. There is that complicated history.
Yeah.
I just want to put out there that that's one of the lines that the Redskins organization has gone with, and they also talk about the polls where it's not offensive, but there's also some question about those polls. But to put both sides
Yeah,
out there,
but the reason I didn't mention any of that stuff is because you have a group of people that are offended by it,
yeah,
and
that's definitely the case. Like,
any of the other
here's
stuff.
where it started. It went somewhere else. Hopefully, like we said, we think that it's gone somewhere else since then, but there's people offended. So
And I could mention the fact that there's multiple high schools that I've read about on Native American reservations that use that as their team mascot too. The Redskins, the name Redskins for their mascot.
this is
And again,
true. And
but
to be fair,
that's all right
on
because it's
the other side of that, they some of those high schools have come out and said that yeah, they use it, but they think that it's only allowable by inside their context or from their community. One of those situations. So
And again, I'm not disagreeing with
it's a
that.
complicated situation. Complicated.
I do not want to tell anybody they can or cannot be offended by anything. That's not what I'm here for. I'm trying to find a way that we can keep what I have so loved, but change it to make it more acceptable for
except
everyone.
for potatoes. I don't care if you're offended.
Yeah, potatoes. We do not care about potatoes. We are not anti-potato here because we are Irish and we love our potatoes. But if we did not have potatoes, half of our diet would be out the window. So, yeah. Hey, I'm all for, coming up with new potato recipes. Just think about it. It'll be the burgundy and gold skins, potatoes, and
there are gold potatoes already.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Oh man, the food combinations alone. What the heck, Daniel Snyder? You know how many potato skins you could sell? I'm pretty sure they're cheap because that's a part of the potato that not many people really want. So you could make money off of that too. Plus the new merchandising, like we said, the spud heads. I mean, come on. I think we need to do it. I think that's what needs to be done.
We need to have this campaign. Like,
it needs to happen.
Honestly,
we're gonna start
talk to other people about this.
Change the name, change the mascot, not the name.
Yeah. If you guys want to sign on for this change of logo to the potatoes, comment below. Let us know what you think.
Yes, and we will. And you know what? I'd also like to hear from a Native American who is offended by the name, and would this be an acceptable solution to it? Because you know what? Again, I'm just a white guy throwing it out there. I don't know if that's really acceptable because everybody will know. And then I also want to ask what I have to do with all my old clothing if they do change the mascot, because
if they just change the mascots, a lot of our clothing will be all right. Because if it just has the words on it.
Yeah, so, but mine all have the Native American head on.
I think I have one with just says like Washington Redskins, but I don't know.
Yeah. So don't hate on me if I keep wearing the clothes because, like I said, half of my wardrobe has that on there. So sorry. But yeah, I hope we came at that kind of sensitively. Nothing too crazy there.
You know what though? I think if they change the name, from our suggestion, we can probably start our own merchandising. Or if you change your name,
copyright.
If you're watching, if the name changes or if the logo changes, send us some new shirts. Please.
Yeah, that's all we're asking for.
We helped you solve this problem.
Maybe a couple tickets, and some shirts. Like I said, half my wardrobe will have to go away, so if you help me replace that, the name is yours. But, yeah, so...
You already have the name, the logo.
Oh, yeah, the logo is yours. The logo is all yours. But, yeah, so I'm glad... It's kind of like a weight off my shoulders just talking about that, because that's been an issue forever, so... But, again, I didn't want to. But I'm glad we did. So I to hear some good feedback on that one. But let's move it on to the